some things, and I don't know about you, but when I look back, I've got too much evidence to ever doubt what God is able to do. But some of us, he's cleaned us up, and you done forgot where he brought you from. You done forgot that you haven't always been known as the person that you're known as. And now, do I have help in here? There was once upon a time when you was in the club and you was doing all kinds of things. Y'all looking at me, some of y'all was there last year. But anyway, you know where God has brought you from. You know what he's brought you through. You knew every time you cracked the top, it wasn't Coca-Cola, but it had some other things on it. Look at where he's brought you from. You used to smoke a pack, and now you want to talk about food. Y'all ain't gonna help me in here. All you got to do is remember where he brought you from. Now, without telling your business, just look at somebody and say, he's brought me from a long, long. Yeah. I wish I had some real folk in here. If you really know, snap five of them and say, I know that's right. I haven't always had what I had and been where I am right now. And if God did it for me, he's no respecter of persons. You ought to know if he brought you out, he can bring anybody out. Y'all ain't gonna help me in here. I wish that was somebody's testimony. If he can save me, y'all ain't gonna help me. I don't care if you know where I've been. If he can save me, there's hope for your son. If he can save me, there's hope for your daughter. I wish I had help in here. Look at somebody and say, he specializes in the impossible. Yeah, he spoke to darkness and light came. He spoke to a dead man and he got up and walked. And I don't know what you're dealing with, but if he can raise a dead man, he can certainly turn some things around in your life. If he can create the sun, the moon, and the stars, why can't he give you a job? Why can't you open your own business? Why can't you do all things? I believe that's what happened to Paul. He said, I can do all. Y'all ain't come to hear no preaching in here today, but listen, you have to know him for yourself. Took him in the spirit. I'm almost finished. Y'all messing with me. Took him in the spirit back to the valley. Y'all forgive me. Can I preach like I feel it? And in the valley, he ran up on dry bones. Now, this place here, known as the Valley of the Dry Bones, was actually a cemetery for Israel's fallen soldiers. The Valley of the Dry Bones, they had once buried them there, but something happened here in the Valley of the Dry Bones. The wind that came through and blew the topsoil off. And so when Ezekiel came, he said it was a valley of dry bones. He couldn't make out exactly what it was, but he saw the silhouette, of some bones that were in the valley. He said, and the closer he got, he said it was many dry bones down in the valley. Listen, I want somebody to hear me in this place, and I want you to know how much is really weighing on you today, because not everybody can see the silhouette of what you can become. Y'all in the place with me? There are other folk that have already buried you and covered you up. But it takes somebody spiritual in your life to see the silhouette. Y'all ain't gonna help me in that. Of what you could be or what you used to be. And it's to those folk that I'm talking to. Now, if you don't see nothing in somebody, you can't speak. But if you see anything good in the person or the thing that you're dealing with, instead of cursing it, you need to start speaking life to the silhouette. Y'all gonna pray with me in here? I might as well go ahead and finish, because y'all looking at me mean, and I don't feel like preaching to mean folk today. But listen, in the valley of dry bones, all Ezekiel saw was the silhouette of what used to be known as God's people. Can I tell you something before I go? Listen, God's people, they didn't just wind up in the cemetery all of a sudden, but what happened, they called them the people of exile, which means they were being punished for falling away from God's commandments. And whenever you're dealing with sin, sin doesn't just overtake you all at once, but you kind of ease. Y'all ain't gonna help me in here. You kind of ease into a bad place. Do I have help in here? See, you got sense enough to know you don't just go to the drug dealer and start smoking crack. You kind of ease See, how it started with a wine cooler. Y'all ain't gonna pray with me today. And as soon as the wine cooler couldn't do it no further, you started with double deuces. Y'all ain't gonna pray with me. And when you got tired of double deuces, you started going to the ABC store and got you a little pint or something. Y'all ain't gonna pray with me. And once you couldn't drink it no more, you started twisting it up. Y'all ain't gonna help me in here. I wish I had some folk in here that would be transparent. Just touch somebody and say, don't let him ease you into nothing, because before you know it, you'll just be a silhouette of what you are supposed to be. I got to get out of here, but I'm so glad that even though I fail and folk have covered me up, I've always had somebody spiritual that was around me that could speak life into my life. Do I have help in here? Somebody that said you look like God is going to use you. I've had a whole lot of folk that say you'll never be anything, never amount to anything. But I'm so glad today that I just had a few spiritual folk that said this is too much. You're too good for this. You're too anointed for this. Do I have help in here? Tell somebody and say, speak life to it. Speak life to your son. Speak life to your daughter. Speak life to your husband. Speak life to your wife. You need to go home today and say, don't you know you're the prophet of this house? Yeah, further than greater triumph, but you're the priest of this house. And I need to know which way to go. Y'all ain't gonna help me in here. You need to go home and tell your wife, don't you know that I do all this for you because you're my queen. Y'all ain't gonna help me in here. Speak life to it. That's what I do with Michael. I know he's a long way off, but your son is too. And I don't just speak negative to him. I said, boy, don't you know I'm dependent on you when I'm dead and gone. So you can't get caught up. You can't get tied down because you're too anointed. God has brought you through too much. If he wanted to kill you, he would let the boy split your head. But the fact that he saved you must mean there's something in store for you. I was just talking to Michael, but now I'm talking to you. Don't you know that if God had wanted you out of here, you'd have been gone, but he saved you so that you could make a difference. That's why the car didn't kill you. That's why the bullet didn't go off. That's why it went all around the room, but it never came your way. That's why you've been sleeping around, but you ain't got no STDs. Y'all ain't gonna help me in here. That's why the drugs couldn't hold you. That's why the liquor couldn't hold you. That's why she had to let you go, because it's too much on you for you to stay right there. Do I have help in here? Touch somebody and say, I know what he's talking about. I'm too blessed to be in this mess. I'm too anointed to just sit here and watch. God save me so I can fight in his army. I don't know about you, but I'm going to fight till he calls my name. I'm going to fight till my son gets saved. I'm going to fight till it's all over with. Somebody say yes. Fight till you see a change.